During the course of my last 3 videos, I covered the network technology updates and deployment improvements made by the UK's mobile network operators Vodafone, O2 and EE. However, of course that omits Three, who I'm going to cover in today's video. Now, Three haven't got up to quite as much on the network development and deployment front as the other three have, although there have been some recent releases and changes which do signal much more happening potentially in the second half of the year 2017 and sort of the first half of 2018. So, first thing I'm going to start off with is small cell trial around Stamford Bridge. Now, I've not been able to visit that area and really see them for myself. However, I found this on Google Street View, which does look rather like a Samsung small cell, and of course Three uses Samsung as their LTE vendor in the United Kingdom for now at least. Now, Three hasn't deployed all that many of these for a variety of reasons that were validly justified, such as basically the very high cost of deploying small cells in the current environment of the UK. There have also been rumours regarding refarming on Three's network, so moving some of their 2100 MHz spectrum from 3G over to 4G, because Three has currently typically 3 carriers of 2100 deployed as 3G, and I saw hints from people saying that in X area there was 5 MHz of L21, so 4G 2100, and even got one person saying that there was 10 MHz of 4G 2100 in a certain area. And 10 MHz does seem like rather a lot at this point in time, because Three does typically run 3 carriers of 3G 2100 for a reason. They do have quite a very high load on their 3G typically, so refarming 2/3 of it was quite an interesting thought. However, I've visited a number of areas that were hinted as broadcasting 4G 2100, and I've been unable to find a major announcement that Three made during the course of 2017 occurred back in February, when they agreed to purchase UK Broadband for £250 million. UK Broadband is typically known through their brand called Relish, which supplies fixed wireless broadband to parts of London using the 3.4 GHz band, and it's that huge chunk of 3.4 GHz spectrum that no doubt Three was very interested in, because that can be used for 5G services as well as potentially significant data offload possibilities. It does have very short range, but of course in a high density urban environment it is very good spectrum to have a very large chunk of at this point in time. In fact, Ofcom is going to sell some more 3.4 GHz spectrum in upcoming auctions for the mobile networks to bid on, to potentially add capacity and so on to their networks. So clearly Three already having a huge chunk of it is going to be very useful going forward for them. A very interesting development with regards to the Three network, which happened only a few days ago, was Three inviting equipment vendors and managed service providers to pitch for a colossal contract to replace and manage their network in very simple terms. Now, as I said previously, Three uses Samsung for their broadcast equipment, and as part of this contract we'll be looking to replace the Samsung LTE equipment with another vendor, which is absolutely massive, because clearly replacing recently deployed base station equipment does come at huge cost and does potentially raise some questions about the Samsung equipment's capability going forward. The contract does also involve the replacement of the network management side of things as well. All in all, going forward, this means that Three could be put in a very strong position with the help of the UK broadband spectrum, the 3.4 GHz spectrum, the small cells, and also the improved vendor equipment deployed at their base stations, which potentially will be, say, Huawei or NSN. which does have a stronger reputation in markets like the UK than Samsung does, which is traditionally favoured by TDD markets. Thanks for watching. I apologise that the background and environment is a bit different to usual, but I'm not at home at the moment, so I hope you enjoyed it regardless.